Have you ever felt completely lost? Not just lost on the street, but lost in your own life. Do you ever look back and wonder if you've actually learned anything, or if you're just walking in circles? What if the finish line is just the beginning all over again? Is this whole thing, this life, just a series of lessons we keep failing until one day, maybe, we don't? Number 22, what does it mean to be whole? The earliest Italian tarot decks from the 15th century didn't always number the Major Arcana cards. The world was simply the world, the final statement. The four figures in the corners, the man, lion, ox, and eagle, are far older than the tarot itself. They are the tetramorph, seen in the visions of the prophet Ezekiel and tied to Babylonian astrology, representing the four fixed signs Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. In some very early decks, the central figure wasn't a dancing woman, but a depiction of an idealized city, a final destination. This is the end, and the beginning. The world card represents completion. It's the feeling of finishing a massive project, graduating from a long course of study, or reaching a place of deep inner peace. You've done it, you've walked the path, learned the lessons, and integrated every part of yourself. The journey is over, but it's not a static dead end. The figure on the card is dancing. There is movement, life, and celebration. This isn't about sitting on a throne, finished and bored. It's about participating in the dance of life with a full understanding of who you are. The wreath around the figure is a circle, an unbroken loop. It's a cosmic Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. The end leads right back to the start. Once you achieve this state of wholeness, you are ready to become the fool again, to step off a new cliff into a new adventure, but this time with the wisdom of the entire journey behind you. This stage of the soul's journey is about integration. You are no longer fighting with yourself. The different parts of your personality, the light and the shadow, the masculine and the feminine, are all working together. You see your place in the universe. You understand that you are not separate from the world, but a vital part of it. The four figures in the corners represent the four elements, the four corners of the earth, the totality of the material world. And you are at the center, in perfect balance. Reaching this point is rare. It's a lifetime's work. It means you faced your demons, healed your wounds, and accepted your flaws. You're not perfect. Perfection is a myth. You are whole. Wholeness means accepting the imperfections. It's about being able to look at yourself, scars and all, and say, this is me, and it is enough. This is the final exhale after a long, hard run. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing you gave it your all. There are no more questions, no more striving. There is only being. You've come home to yourself. The great cycle is complete. You have touched the divine, not as something outside of you, but as the very core of your own being. And from this place of total completion, the universe looks at you and says, ready to go again. Number 21, can you answer the final call? The original name for the judgment card was the angel. Early decks show an angel blowing a trumpet, but the scene below varied wildly. Some showed the resurrection of the dead, a direct reference to Christian eschatology. Others, however, depicted a more ambiguous scene of people simply looking up, as if hearing a call to a higher purpose. The card's number, 20, is twice 10, the Wheel of Fortune, suggesting a turn of the cosmic wheel on a much higher, more permanent level. Before you can be whole, you must answer a call. This isn't a phone call, it's a deep soul level summons. Judgment is the moment of awakening. It's when you finally hear the music that's been playing in the background of your life the entire time. It's a reckoning. This isn't about being judged by some external god or authority figure. Look at the people on the card. They are rising up, not being condemned. They are shedding their old skins, their old identities, their old coffins. They are answering a call from their own higher self. It is the soul judging its own life, its own choices, its own path. This stage is about absolute clarity and forgiveness. You look back on your entire journey, every mistake, every triumph, every moment of pain and joy, and you see it all for what it was necessary. You forgive yourself, you forgive others. You let go of all the baggage, the guilt, the shame, the resentment. You can't carry that into the next stage. It's too heavy. The sound of the trumpet is a vibration that shakes you to your core. It's a moment of truth so profound, it reorients your entire existence. Think of a near-death experience, a sudden epiphany, or a moment of Satorian Zen. The world you thought you knew dissolves, and you see the underlying reality for the first time. You realize that you have been asleep, and now you are awake. This is the point of no return. Once you have heard this call, you cannot unhear it. You cannot go back to sleep. You have to make a choice. Do you answer the call and rise to a new level of consciousness? Or do you try to ignore it and stay in the comfortable tomb you've built for yourself? Answering the call means accepting your life's purpose. It's the culmination of all the lessons you've learned. It's the final exam. You are asked to shed the small, ego-driven self and embrace the larger, eternal self. It is a rebirth. You are not the same person you were before. The old you has died, and a new you is born from the ashes, ready to step into the final dance of the world. Number 20, is it possible to be truly happy? The Sun card is one of the few Major Arcana cards that has remained almost entirely unchanged in its imagery since the 15th century. A radiant sun, a child, a horse, and sometimes sunflowers have been its core components for over 500 years. The child on the card is often naked, signifying a lack of shame and a return to innocence. The number 19 is a prime number, indivisible, representing a pure, singular state of being. Before the great awakening of judgment, there must be a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. This is the sun. This isn't the fleeting happiness of getting something you want. This is the deep, radiant joy of being. It is clarity, vitality, and enlightenment. The journey through the darkness is over. After the confusion and fear of the moon, you step out into the sunlight. Everything is clear. There are no more shadows, no more secrets, no more illusions. You see yourself in the world with perfect clarity. It's like the fog has lifted after a long, dreary rain. The child on the card represents our authentic self, our inner child. This is the part of us that is pure, innocent, and free. To reach this stage means you have reconnected with that core self. You have shed the layers of social conditioning, the fears, the ego defenses. You are simply you, naked and unashamed, basking in the light of truth. This is a time of great energy and vitality. The sun is the source of all life on earth. When this card appears in your journey, you are filled with that same life-giving energy. You feel optimistic, confident, and alive. Your creativity flows. Your relationships are warm and open. Life feels simple and good. This isn't a naive happiness. It's a happiness that has been earned. You had to go through the darkness to appreciate the light. You had to face your fears to find your freedom. This joy is not based on external circumstances. It radiates from within. It's the joy of self-acceptance and self-love. The wall behind the child suggests that this paradise is protected, but it's a paradise you have built yourself through your inner work. The sunflowers turn to face the sun, just as you now turn to face the light of your own consciousness. This is the peak of human experience on the material plane. It's the feeling of success, of accomplishment, of being totally aligned with your purpose. It's the calm, confident joy that comes before the final, transcendent call of judgment. You have found your personal truth, and you are living it out loud for all the world to see. Number 19, why are you so afraid of the dark? The moon card is notoriously difficult to interpret, and its imagery is packed with ancient symbolism. The two towers are a recurring motif, also seen in the Death and Tower cards, representing a gateway to the unknown. The dog and the wolf represent the tamed and wild aspects of the mind. The crayfish or lobster emerging from the water is a symbol of the earliest, most primitive consciousness beginning to evolve. The card's number, 18, breaks down to 1 place 9, the number of the hermit, suggesting this is an internal, solitary journey. To find the brilliant clarity of the sun, you must first travel through the night. The moon represents the realm of the subconscious, of dreams, fears, and illusions. This is the dark night of the soul. It is a necessary and terrifying part of the journey. This is a place of deep intuition, but also deep confusion. The light of the moon is not direct. It is a reflection of the sun's light. Things are not what they seem. Shadows play tricks on the eyes. Your own mind becomes the monster in the dark. All your repressed fears, your anxieties, your hidden traumas come crawling out of the water like that primitive crayfish. The path on the card leads forward between the two towers, but it's not a straight path. It meanders. The journey through the subconscious is not logical. It's a landscape of symbols, archetypes, and raw emotion. You have to rely on your intuition, that gut feeling, to guide you. The dog and the wolf, your domesticated instincts and your wild primal nature, are both howling at the moon. You have to learn to listen to both without being consumed by either. This stage is about facing the unknown within yourself. It's about diving deep into the murky waters of your own psyche. It's where you confront the parts of yourself you have denied or repressed. It's a journey into madness, but a controlled one. You have to go into the chaos to find the deeper order. Many people get stuck here. They become lost in their own fears, their own illusions. They mistake the reflection for the real thing. They build a life based on their anxieties. But the path leads through, not around. The only way to get to the sunrise is to endure the night. This is a time of psychic sensitivity. Your dreams are vivid, your emotions are intense. You feel things that you can't explain. It's crucial to be patient with yourself during this phase. It's a time for creative expression, for therapy, for journaling, for any practice that allows you to bring the contents of the subconscious into the light of conscious awareness. The moon is a test of faith. Not faith in a god, but faith in your own ability to navigate the darkness. It's the last great trial before the dawn. You must learn to be comfortable with not knowing, to walk the path even when you can't see the destination. You must trust that the sun will rise again. Number 18, are you wishing on the right star? The star card has one of the most serene images in the deck. In the 15th century Visconti Sforza deck, the card depicts a woman reaching up to a single large star. Later, the image evolved into the more familiar one of a naked woman kneeling by a pool of water, pouring water onto the land and back into the pool, under a canopy of 8 stars. The number 17 is considered by some numerologists to be a number of spiritual destiny. This is the star. It is the quiet moment after the storm has passed. The sky is clear and you can see the stars again. This card represents a renewed sense of purpose. After your world was torn down, you were left with nothing. No illusions, no false beliefs, no ego structures. In that emptiness, a new light emerges. It's a quiet, gentle light, not the blazing fire of the tower or the brilliant light of the sun. It's the light of hope, of inspiration, of faith in the future. The naked woman shows a state of complete vulnerability. There is nothing left to hide. You have been stripped bare, and in that nakedness, you find a new kind of freedom. You are connected to the source of life, represented by the pool of water. You are pouring out your gifts, your creativity, your healing energy, both onto the fertile ground to create new life, and back into the collective unconscious, the source from which it came. You are a channel for divine inspiration. This is a time of deep healing. The water represents the cleansing of emotions. You are washing away the trauma of the past. It's a time of peace and tranquility. You are not striving or fighting. You are simply being in a state of grace. The large star is your guiding light, your true north. It's your connection to your higher self, your destiny. After losing everything, you have found the one thing that can never be taken away, your own inner truth. The 7 smaller stars can represent the 7 chakras, all aligned and balanced. The star is about trusting the universe. After the chaos of the tower, it would be easy to become bitter and cynical. But this stage of the journey is about choosing hope over despair. It's about believing that even after the worst has happened, there is still beauty, there is still meaning, there is still a path forward. This isn't a passive hope, it's an active state of being. You are participating in your own healing and the creation of your new reality. You are planting the seeds for the future. This is the quiet, essential work that must be done before you can journey into the subconscious depths of the moon. You are rebuilding your world not on a foundation of lies, but on a foundation of truth and hope. Number 17, what happens when your foundations are a lie? The Tower card was originally called La Maison Dieu, or the House of God. In some early decks, it showed God himself appearing at the top of the tower, while in others it was lightning. The falling figures are a constant, representing the expulsion from a place of false security, much like the expulsion from the Garden of Eden. The number 16 is 4x4, the number of the Emperor squared, suggesting the rigid structures of the material world taken to a destructive extreme. Before you can find hope, your illusions must be shattered. The Tower is one of the most feared cards in the deck, and for good reason. It represents sudden, dramatic, and often painful change. It is the moment when the universe takes a sledgehammer to the structures you have built on a faulty foundation. The tower itself represents your ego, your belief systems, your identity, the life you have constructed for yourself. You thought it was strong and secure, a fortress to protect you from the world, but it was built on lies, on pride, on denial, and a lightning bolt of truth comes from the heavens to strike it down. This can manifest in many ways: a job loss, a divorce, a health crisis, a betrayal. It's any event that completely upends your reality and forces you to question everything you thought you knew. The crown being blown off the top of the tower shows that the authority of the ego has been overthrown. The two people falling are you, stripped of your power and security, cast out into the unknown. It is a terrifying experience. It feels like the end of the world, and in a way it is. It's the end of the world as you knew it. But this destruction is necessary. It is a divine intervention to save you from yourself. You were living in a prison, and you didn't even know it. The tower sets you free. The fire is a purification. It burns away the falsehoods, the attachments, the things that were holding you back. It's a painful process, but it is a cleansing one. After the fire, the ground is cleared for new growth. No, one chooses the tower. It happens to you. It is a moment of profound humility. You realize that you are not in control. You are forced to surrender to a higher power, to the flow of life. The aftermath of the tower is chaos and confusion. You are left sifting through the rubble of your life, wondering what to do next. But in that emptiness, there is an opportunity. You have been given a clean slate. You can rebuild, but this time on a foundation of truth, humility, and authenticity. The tower is the ultimate reality check. It is the catastrophic event that leads to the quiet healing and gentle hope of the star. It is a necessary destruction that makes rebirth possible. Number 16, are you chained to your own desires? The devil card is not about a literal, external, evil entity. The first tarot decks did not include a devil card. It was added later in the 15th century, likely to appeal to the moralistic anxieties of the time. The iconic Baphomet imagery with the goat head and wings was popularized by Eliphas Levi in the 19th century and is a complex esoteric symbol, not a depiction of Satan. The number 15 breaks down to 156, the number of the lovers, showing that this card is about choices, relationships, and attachments, but in their shadow form. Before your tower of false beliefs can be destroyed, you must first recognize that you are living in a prison of your own making. The devil represents addiction, materialism, obsession, and negative patterns. It is the part of the journey where you confront your shadow self. Look closely at the card. The two figures are not tightly chained to the devil's pedestal. The chains around their necks are loose. They could easily lift them off and walk away. But they don't. They choose to stay. This is the key to understanding the card. The devil's power is not absolute. It is the power you give him. This stage is about becoming aware of your chains. What are you a slave to? Is it a substance, a relationship, a job, a belief system? Is it the need for approval, the fear of failure, the pursuit of money and status? The devil represents any attachment that limits your freedom and keeps you tethered to your lower nature. The inverted pentagram on the devil's forehead points downwards, indicating a focus on the purely material, the sensual, the ego-driven desires. There is a great deal of energy here, but it is misdirected. It's the energy of lust without love, ambition without purpose, knowledge without wisdom. This part of the journey is seductive. The devil offers pleasure, power, security. It's the voice that whispers, just one more drink, just a little more money. Stay in this toxic relationship because it's better than being alone. It's the trap of the comfort zone, even when that zone is a miserable one. To move past this stage, you must look your own devil in the eye. You must acknowledge your shadow, your addictions, your obsessions without shame or judgment. You have to laugh at the devil. You have to see the absurdity of your own self-imposed limitations. You have to realize that the chains are loose. This is the dark night of the soul where you confront your own capacity for self-destruction. It is a necessary confrontation. You cannot build a solid tower, even a false one, without being tempted by the easy promises of the material world. Facing the devil is what gives you the raw material, the awareness of your own weaknesses that you will then build into the rigid, prideful structure that the tower must eventually destroy. It is the choice to remain in bondage that leads directly to the divine intervention that will set you free by force. Number 15, how do you find balance in a world of extremes? The temperance card in early decks was one of the 3 cardinal virtues alongside justice and strength. The act of tempering, mixing water and wine, was a common alchemical symbol for the process of combining opposites to create a new, more refined substance. The number 14, 2 times 7, the chariot, suggests a mastery over dualistic forces, but on a higher, more spiritual level. To be tempted by the devil's extremes, you must first have an understanding of balance. Temperance is the path of moderation, of synthesis, of finding the middle way. It is the calm after the storm of death. This card shows an angel, a being of a higher consciousness, with 1 foot in the water, the subconscious, the emotions, and 1 foot on the land, the material world, the conscious mind. This is a perfect image of integration. The angel is blending the two, creating a harmonious flow between the inner and outer worlds. Temperance is about alchemy, not the literal turning of lead into gold, but the spiritual alchemy of transforming the lead of your base nature into the gold of your higher self. The angel is pouring the liquid between 2 cups, a process of careful mixing and balancing. This is the work of integrating the different parts of your personality, your past, and your future, your shadow, and your light. This stage of the journey is about patience and purpose. It is a slow, deliberate process. You cannot rush spiritual growth. You are learning to moderate your desires, to control your impulses, to find a sustainable rhythm for your life. After the radical ending represented by death, temperance is the period of healing and recalibration that follows. This is where you learn the art of compromise, not in a weak sense, but in the powerful sense of blending opposites to create a greater whole. You are learning to be in the world, but not of it. You are finding a flow, a synergy, where everything seems to work together effortlessly. The path on the card leads up to a rising sun, a crown of light. This is the goal enlightenment, wholeness. But the path is long, and it requires the patience and balance that temperance teaches. This is a quiet, gentle phase of the journey. There are no great battles or dramatic events. It is the subtle internal work of integration. It's about finding your center. It's about creating a life that is in alignment with your deepest values. It is this very state of perfect balance and flow that can paradoxically lead to the next challenge. When things are in harmony, the temptation to seek more, to push the boundaries, to indulge in the extremes offered by the devil, becomes stronger. The calm of temperance sets the stage for the seductive chaos that follows. You have found the middle path, and now you will be tested to see if you'll stray from it. Number 14, is it really an ending or just a change? The death card is almost never about literal physical death. In the earliest decks, it was often the only card that was left unnamed, with the image of a skeleton being enough to convey its meaning. The number 13 has long been associated with bad luck in Western cultures, but in many other traditions, it is a number of transformation and rebirth, as it represents the 13 cycles of the moon in a year. The white rose on the flag in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck symbolizes beauty, purity, and immortality, even in the face of death. Before, you can find the perfect balance of temperance, something old must die. Death is the card of endings, of transformation, of letting go. It is one of the most positive cards in the Major Arcana, though it rarely feels that way at the time. This stage of the journey is about radical change. It is the end of a chapter. A relationship ends. You quit a job, you move to a new city, a part of your identity dies. It is a necessary pruning. The dead branches must be cut away so that new life can grow. The skeleton on the horse represents the part of you that is indestructible, the core of your being that continues on even when everything else falls away. It is riding a white horse, a symbol of purity and power. This is not a malicious force. It is a natural, unstoppable force of change. It clears the way for the new. The card shows people from all walks of life, a king, a bishop, a woman, a child work, all succumbing to death. It is the great equalizer. No one is immune to change. Your ego, your status, your wealth, none of it matters in the face of this transformative energy. You must surrender. Resistance to this process is what causes suffering. If you cling to what is dying, you will be dragged along. If you accept the ending, you can participate in your own transformation. The bishop holds up his crozier in a futile attempt to resist. The king lies dead, his power useless. The woman kneels in acceptance. The child looks on with innocent curiosity. How you meet this energy is your choice. This is a clearing out, it's a deep cleanse of your life. It gets rid of everything that is no longer serving your soul's growth. It can be painful, like surgery without anesthesia. But it is always for your highest good. You cannot begin the alchemical process of temperance while you are still carrying around the dead weight of the past. Death clears the slate. It creates the empty space needed for the new to emerge. It is the fertile void. After the harvest, the field must lie fallow before it can be planted again. Death is the scythe that harvests the old, preparing the ground for the gentle, healing work of temperance to begin. Number 13, how do you change your perspective? The Hanged Man was originally called the Traitor in some Italian decks. It was linked to a real-life practice called pittura infamante, where images of traitors and thieves were painted hanging upside down on public buildings as a form of shaming. Over time, the esoteric meaning shifted from punishment to willing sacrifice and enlightenment. The number 12, the number of months in a year in signs in the zodiac, represents a complete cycle of time and experience. The Hanged Man is pausing this cycle to gain a new understanding. Before an old part of you can die, you must first be willing to see the world differently. The Hanged Man represents a pause, a surrender, a sacrifice for a higher wisdom. It is the moment you stop struggling and just hang. This is not a punishment. Look at the Hanged Man's face. He is serene, calm, even illuminated. He has chosen this position. He is hanging from the world tree, the axis mundi that connects the heavens and the earth. He is sacrificing his normal ego-driven perspective in order to gain a spiritual one. This stage of the journey is about letting go. You stop trying to control everything. You stop fighting against the current. You surrender to the flow of life. It's a period of suspension. Your life may feel like it's on hold. Nothing is moving forward. This is not a time for action. It is a time for contemplation. By hanging upside down, everything is reversed. The world looks completely different. This is a radical shift in perspective. You are forced to question your assumptions, your beliefs, your priorities. The blood rushes to your head, symbolizing a shift from physical, worldly concerns to mental and spiritual ones. The Hanged Man is about making a sacrifice. You have to give up something to gain something of greater value. You might sacrifice your time, your money, your comfort, or even a cherished belief. You are giving up your ego's need to be in control in exchange for spiritual insight. This is the ultimate test of faith. You are in a limbo state between one world and the next. You don't know what the outcome will be. You just have to trust the process. It's the cocoon phase. The caterpillar has to completely dissolve before it can become a butterfly. The Hanged Man is that state of dissolution. This is a profoundly uncomfortable place to be for most people. We are a culture of action, of doing. The Hanged Man asks us to simply be, to wait, to listen. It is in this state of passive surrender that the greatest breakthroughs occur. It is this willing sacrifice, this complete change in how you see the world, that allows the necessary death to occur. You realize that what you were clinging to no longer serves you. You willingly let it go. The perspective shift of the Hanged Man is the trigger for the transformative release of the Death card. Number 12, do you understand the law of cause and effect? The Justice card was originally placed at number 8 in many older decks, with strength at 11. The Rider-Waite-Smith deck famously swapped their positions, a change that remains a point of debate among tarot scholars. The imagery, however, has been consistent, a seated figure holding a sword and scales. The figure is often a woman, representing the impartiality of divine law, sometimes blindfolded, sometimes not. The number 11 is a master number in numerology representing higher intuition and spiritual truth. To be able to willingly sacrifice your perspective, you must first understand the consequences of your actions. Justice represents karma, truth, fairness, and the law of cause and effect. It is the moment when you have to face the music. This isn't about human law or courtroom drama. This is about universal law. The scales represent the weighing of actions, the balancing of karma. The double-edged sword represents the power of truth, which can cut both ways. It can liberate and it can destroy illusions. It requires precision and clarity. This stage of the journey is about taking responsibility. You look at your life and you see with stark clarity how your own choices and actions have created your current reality. There is no one else to blame. You reap what you sow. This can be a harsh realization, but it is also incredibly empowering. If you created your present, you can also create your future. Justice demands honesty. You must be honest with yourself, first and foremost. You have to cut through your own self-deception, your own excuses. The sword of truth slices away everything that is not authentic. This is a time of decision-making. But the decisions made here are not based on emotion or desire. They are based on logic, on reason, on what is right and fair. The figure on the card is dispassionate. Justice is impartial. It is not about what you want, it is about what is true. This card often appears when a significant choice needs to be made, one that will have long-term consequences. It asks you to weigh all the factors carefully, to consider the impact of your actions on yourself and others, and to act with integrity. This is the point where you learn that life is not random. There is an underlying order, a cosmic balance. Every action has a reaction. Understanding this principle is a major step in spiritual maturity. It's what allows you to move forward with a new level of consciousness. It is this clear-eyed understanding of consequence that prepares you for the hanged man. You see the results of your past actions. The karma you are carrying, and realize that to change the outcome, you must change your entire approach. You must pause, surrender your old way of doing things, and willingly hang upside down to find a new path. Justice shows you the equation. The hanged man is the radical attempt to solve it differently. Number 11. Where does your true power come from? The strength card, also called fortitude, was originally number 11, then swapped with justice to number 8 by A.E. Waite. The imagery of a woman calmly taming a lion is ancient, with roots in depictions of goddesses like Ishtar and Cybele. The infinity symbol, or lemniscate, above the woman's head is the same one seen above the magician's head, linking the beginning of the journey with this midpoint. It signifies infinite potential and spiritual power. Before you can face the truth of justice, you must first find your inner strength. This isn't the brute force of the chariot. This is a different kind of power. Strength represents courage, compassion, patience, and self-control. The card shows a woman gently closing the mouth of a lion. She is not fighting it. She is not using force. She is taming the beast with love, with compassion, with a quiet inner resolve. The lion represents our primal instincts, our passions, our anger, our fear, our animal nature. The woman represents our higher consciousness, our spiritual self. This stage of the journey is about integration. It's about making peace with your inner lion. You are not trying to kill it or repress it. That would be impossible and unhealthy. Instead, you are learning to understand it, to respect it, and to channel its immense energy for a higher purpose. You are turning your passion into compassion, your anger into a drive for justice, your fear into courage. This is true self-mastery. It comes from a place of love, not a place of fear. The woman is wearing a white robe, symbolizing purity of intent, and is adorned with flowers, symbolizing the beauty and grace of nature. Her power is gentle, but it is unshakable. This is the courage to be vulnerable. It's the strength to be kind in the face of cruelty. It's the patience to persevere when things are difficult. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing and accepting all parts of yourself, the light and the dark. This is a major turning point in the soul's journey. The first half of the Major Arcana is largely about encounters with the external world and its archetypes. Strength marks the beginning of a deeper, more internal phase of the work. You are now turning inward to confront the beast within. To master this stage is to find a deep well of resilience within yourself. You no longer need external validation or control. Your power comes from within. It is this inner fortitude that gives you the courage to face the impartial sword of justice. You can look at your past actions without flinching because you have tamed the inner beast of guilt and shame. You can accept the truth, no matter how difficult, because your strength is not in your ego, but in your soul. Number 10. Are you a victim of fate or the master of your destiny? The Wheel of Fortune is one of the most philosophically complex cards. The concept of a Wheel of Fate dates back to ancient Babylon and was a popular medieval allegory for the unpredictable nature of life. The four figures in the corners are the same tetramorph from the World card, but here they are reading books, still learning the lessons of the universe. The letters on the wheel can be rearranged to spell Rhoda, wheel, Taro, Orat speaks, and Ator, an Egyptian goddess, forming the sentence, "The wheel of Taro speaks the law of Ator." Before you can find your inner strength, you must first grapple with the nature of fate and destiny. The Wheel of Fortune represents cycles, turning points, luck, and the ups and downs of life. This stage is about understanding that life is constantly changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. The wheel is always turning, nothing is permanent, success is fleeting, so is failure. This is a profound lesson in non-attachment. The Sphinx at the top of the wheel represents wisdom and riddles. It holds a sword, like the figure of justice, suggesting that there is a higher law at play, even in what seems like random chance. The snake on one side represents the life-giving, transformative energy, while the Anubis-like figure on the other represents the descent into the underworld or the darker aspects of life. The key question the wheel asks is, where are you on the wheel? Are you on the outer rim, being tossed about by every turn of fortune, a victim of circumstance? Or are you moving towards the center, the hub? The hub of the wheel is the only point that remains still. This is the place of the enlightened observer, the spiritual center. From this place you can watch the ups and downs of life without being attached to them, without losing your inner peace. This is a moment of destiny, a turning point. An opportunity presents itself. A stroke of luck, good or bad, changes the direction of your life. The wheel reminds you that you are part of a much larger cosmic pattern. There are forces at play beyond your understanding and control. However, this is not a card of pure fatalism. While you may not control the turning of the wheel itself, you control how you react to it. Do you complain when you are at the bottom? Do you become arrogant when you are at the top? Or do you use every experience as a learning opportunity, moving ever closer to the still point at the center? This is where the journey gets real. You realize that the world is not a stable, predictable place. It's a chaotic, ever-changing dance. It is this realization, this encounter with the impersonal turning of fate that forces you to look for a different kind of power, a power that doesn't depend on external circumstances. It forces you to look for the inner power of strength. Number 9, is there wisdom in being alone? The Hermit card's imagery has been remarkably consistent since the 15th century. It depicts an old man holding a lantern and a staff, standing alone on a mountaintop. He is Father Time, or Kronos. The star inside his lantern is a seal of Solomon, a 6-pointed star representing the union of opposites and the wisdom of the heavens. His number 9 is the last of the single-digit numbers representing completion, wisdom, and the culmination of a cycle. Before you can face the turning wheel of the external world, you must first retreat from it. The Hermit represents introspection, solitude, soul-searching, and seeking guidance from within. This is a time to pull back from the noise and distractions of society. You need to be alone with your thoughts. The Hermit is on a quest for truth, but he is not looking for it in books or from other people. He is looking for it within himself. The lantern he holds is his own inner wisdom, his own consciousness. He is shining a light into the darkness of his own soul. This is a necessary phase of withdrawal. You might feel antisocial, wanting to cancel plans, and just be by yourself. This is not loneliness, it is chosen solitude. It is a time for deep contemplation, for reviewing your life, for asking the big questions: who am I? What is my purpose? What do I truly believe? The Hermit stands on a mountaintop, signifying that he has achieved a certain level of perspective. He is above the petty concerns of the valley below. He is old, symbolizing the wisdom that comes from experience. His staff is a tool of support and guidance, representing his connection to his own power and his ability to walk his own path. He is not just hiding away, he is also a guide for others. He holds his lantern out, not just to light his own way, but to light the way for those who are ready to seek him out. He doesn't go down into the valley to preach. He stays on his mountain, and the true seekers must make the journey to find him. Wisdom cannot be forced upon others. It must be sought. This is the stage where you become your own teacher, your own guru. You learn to trust your own inner voice, your own intuition. You are integrating all the lessons you have learned so far on your journey. This period of deep introspection is what prepares you for the chaos of the Wheel of Fortune. By finding your own inner light, your own still point, you are equipping yourself to handle the ups and downs of the external world. The hermit finds the center of the wheel within himself before he has to face the wheel itself. Number 8. Are you driving your life, or is it driving you? The Chariot is a card of victory and worldly success. Its imagery draws from triumphal processions of ancient Rome. The charioteer holds no reins. He controls the two sphinxes or horses through sheer force of will. The black and white sphinxes represent duality and opposing forces that must be controlled. The number 7 is a sacred number in many traditions, representing spiritual perfection and victory. To be able to retreat into the wisdom of the hermit, you first need to have experienced the world and achieved some level of success within it. The Chariot represents willpower, determination, control, and ambition. This is the stage of the journey where you assert yourself. You set a goal and you go after it with everything you've got. This is about harnessing your energy, your focus, and your drive to achieve a specific outcome in the material world. It's about winning. The charioteer is a figure of pure willpower. He is not passive. He is an active agent directing his own course. The canopy of stars above his head suggests he is guided by a higher purpose, but the victory is his own. The city is behind him. He has left the comfort and security of civilization to forge his own path. This card is all about control. The main challenge here is to control the opposing forces in your life and within yourself. The black and white sphinxes want to pull in different directions. Your desire for security might pull against your desire for freedom. Your logic might pull against your emotion. The charioteer's job is to get them to work together, to pull in the same direction, using nothing but the power of his will. This is a card of the ego in its most positive form. It's about building a strong sense of self, about having the confidence to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. This is the energy you need to graduate from school, to start a business, to win a competition. However, there is a danger here. The chariot can be a hard shell. The armor the charioteer wears can protect him, but it can also cut him off from his emotions. The victory can be hollow if it is not aligned with a deeper spiritual purpose. The focus on willpower can lead to burnout and a sense of being disconnected from the flow of life. This is why the chariot is followed by the hermit. After achieving worldly success, after winning the battle through sheer force of will, the soul begins to ask, is this all there is? The victory feels empty. You realize that external control is not enough. You have conquered the outer world, and now you must turn inward to conquer the inner world. The chariot drives you to the mountaintop, and then you must get out and walk the rest of the way alone. Number 7, which path will you choose? The Lover's card is not just about romantic love. In the earliest decks, like the Visconti Sforza, it depicted a man choosing between two women, a clear allegory for a choice between virtue and vice. The more modern Rider-Waite-Smith image shows Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, with an angel above them, shifting the focus to sacred union and the consequences of choice. The number 6 represents harmony, balance, and relationship. Before you can charge forward in your chariot, you must first make a fundamental choice about your values. The Lovers represents choice, alignment, relationships, and the union of opposites. This is the first major test of the journey where you are presented with a clear fork in the road. You can no longer rely on the guidance of others like the Hierophant or your own unexamined beliefs. You must make a conscious choice based on your own values. What do you stand for? What is truly important to you? The choice is often between your head and your heart, between what you should do and what you want to do. It's about finding an alignment between your beliefs and your actions. This is a crucial step in forming your own identity. You are moving from a state of childhood dependence to adult responsibility. In the Adam and Eve version, the card is about connection. It's about the desire to unite with another to become whole. This can be a romantic partner, a business partner, or even a deep connection with a part of yourself that was previously separate. The man looks to the woman who looks to the angel. This shows the flow of consciousness from the subconscious, the feminine to the conscious, the masculine to the superconscious, the divine. This stage is about opening your heart. It requires vulnerability. You have to be willing to connect with another person or an ideal on a deep, authentic level. This creates a powerful bond, a synergy that is greater than the sum of its parts. But every choice has a consequence. Behind Eve is the tree of knowledge with the serpent. Behind Adam is the tree of life. The choice to connect, to know, is also the choice that leads to the end of innocence. It is the beginning of duality, of right and wrong, of good and evil. It is this fundamental choice, this alignment of your personal values that provides the fuel and the direction for the chariot. You have chosen your path. You know what you are fighting for. Now you must summon the willpower and determination to see it through, to steer your chariot towards the destination you have chosen with your heart and mind. Number 6. Who are you listening to? The Hierophant is also known as the Pope in older decks. The card represents tradition, institutions, and conventional belief systems. The Hierophant is the bridge, the literal meaning of pontiff, between the divine and the human. The two keys at his feet are the keys to the kingdom of heaven, one gold solar, conscious, and one silver lunar, subconscious. The number 5 represents instability and the need for a system or belief to provide structure. Before you can make your own authentic choice, you must first be educated in the traditions and belief systems of your culture. The Hierophant represents the teacher, the institution, the established way of doing things. This is the stage of formal learning. You go to school, you go to church, you join a club. You learn the rules of the game. The Hierophant is the keeper of sacred knowledge, the one who passes down the traditions of the past. He represents dogma, doctrine, and conformity. At this point in the journey, you are an apprentice. You are learning from a master. You are absorbing the wisdom of your society. This is a necessary and important part of development. We all need a framework, a structure, a set of beliefs to help us make sense of the world. The Hierophant provides that. He is the figure of authority who tells you what is right and what is wrong. The two acolytes kneeling before him show the dynamic of teacher and student. They are receiving the established wisdom. The challenge of this stage is to learn the lessons without becoming a blind follower. The Hierophant can represent a rigid, dogmatic way of thinking that stifles individuality and creativity. It can be the voice of, "We've always done it this way." This is the phase where you internalize the values of your family, your religion, your culture. You are given a map of the world. It's a good map, a map that has worked for many people before you. But eventually, you will come to a place on the map that is marked, "Here be dragons." You will face a situation that the traditional rules don't cover. This is the moment of the lovers. The established teachings of the Hierophant are no longer sufficient. You have learned the rules, and now you must decide for yourself whether to follow them or to break them. You must move from being a student to being your own authority. The Hierophant gives you the foundation, and the lovers forces you to build your own house upon it. Number 5. How much power do you really have? The Emperor is the archetypal father figure, the ruler of the material world. He sits on a stone throne, often adorned with ram's heads, a symbol of Aries, the sign of leadership, aggression, and initiation. He holds a scepter and a globe, symbols of his power and dominion over the world. The number 4 represents stability, structure, and the material world, 4 elements, 4 seasons, 4 corners of the earth. Before you can learn from a teacher, you must first understand the rules of the world you live in. The Emperor represents structure, authority, order, and control. He is the law. This stage of the journey is about building a stable foundation in the material world. It's about creating order out of chaos. The Emperor is the part of you that sets boundaries, creates rules, and makes plans. He is the architect of your life. This is the energy of discipline, of responsibility, of leadership. It's about taking control of your environment and your circumstances. The Emperor builds the city, creates the government, and enforces the laws. He provides the safety and security that society needs to function. He sits in a barren, rocky landscape. This shows that his focus is not on creativity or emotional expression like the Empress, but on logic, reason, and the practical application of power. He is the master of the four-square world. This is a necessary stage of development. You need to learn how to manage your finances, how to hold down a job, how to be a responsible member of society. You need to develop a strong ego, a sense of self that can operate effectively in the world. The danger of the Emperor is that he can become a tyrant. His need for control can become rigid and oppressive. He can stifle creativity, block emotional expression, and resist change. He can build walls instead of foundations. The emperor represents the worldly power and structure that you were born into. He is the father, the boss, the government. He sets the rules. It is within this established structure that you then seek a deeper meaning, a spiritual context for the rules. You move from the king of the world, the emperor, to the king of heaven's representative, the Hierophant. The emperor gives you the laws of man. The Hierophant gives you the laws of God. Number 4, where does creativity come from? The Empress is the archetypal mother, the goddess of fertility, creativity, and the natural world. She sits in a lush, abundant landscape, surrounded by symbols of life and growth, like wheat and pomegranates. The symbol on her shield is that of Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and art. The number 3 represents creation, synthesis, and the birth of something new, the union of 1 and 2. To build the rigid structures of the Emperor, you first need the raw, creative energy of life itself. The Empress represents unconditional love, nurturing, abundance, and connection to the physical world. This is the stage of pure creation. It is the birth of an idea, a project, a child. The Empress is the womb from which all things are born. She is Gaia, Mother Earth. She represents the sensual world: taste, touch, smell, sight, sound. She is about being in your body, enjoying the pleasures of life. This is a phase of flow and receptivity. Unlike the focused will of the magician, the Empress does not force things to happen. She creates the fertile ground and allows life to grow naturally. She is the artist in her studio, the gardener in her garden, the mother caring for her child. She teaches the lesson of abundance. There is enough for everyone. The universe is a generous place. This is a powerful antidote to the scarcity mindset that often drives us. The Empress is about nurturing. Nurturing yourself, nurturing others, nurturing your creative projects. It is about giving and receiving love freely, without condition. She is the heart of the journey. This is where you learn to connect with your emotions, with your intuition, with the cycles of nature. It's about embracing your feminine side, regardless of your gender. The challenge of the Empress is that her energy can become stagnant, overbearing, or overly indulgent. She can be the smothering mother who won't let her children grow up. She can be the hedonist who lives only for pleasure. The Empress creates life in all its messy, chaotic, beautiful abundance. But this raw, untamed creative energy needs a container. It needs structure. It needs rules to give it form and direction. The Empress gives birth to the world, and the Emperor builds the civilization upon it. He takes her raw creative power and gives it a purpose and a structure in the material realm. Number 3, what is hidden and what is revealed? The High Priestess is the guardian of the subconscious mind and the keeper of secrets. She sits between 2 pillars, one black Boaz and one white Jachin, representing duality and the entrance to a sacred temple. The scroll in her lap is the Torah, with part of the name hidden, suggesting that some knowledge is esoteric and not for everyone. The crescent moon at her feet connects her to intuition, dreams, and the divine feminine. The number 2 represents duality, balance, and partnership. Before you can give birth to something new, you must first connect with the source of all potential. The High Priestess represents intuition, hidden knowledge, and the subconscious. This is the stage of going within. After the outward, active energy of the magician, the High Priestess represents a turn inward, into the silent, receptive darkness. She is the passive, feminine principle to the magician's active, masculine one. She teaches you to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the quiet voice within. This is the realm of gut feelings, of synchronicity, of dreams that tell you something important. The High Priestess knows things without knowing how she knows them. She sits before a veil which separates the conscious and unconscious worlds. She is the gatekeeper. To access the wisdom she holds, you must be still. You must be patient. You must be willing to enter the mystery. This is not a time for action. It is a time for contemplation, for meditation, for listening to your intuition. The knowledge you gain here is not logical or linear. It is symbolic, archetypal. It is the wisdom of the soul. The High Priestess is the great mystery of the journey. She represents the potential that has not yet been made manifest. She is the fertile void from which all creation emerges. She holds the secrets. To move forward on your journey, you must learn to trust her guidance. You must learn to balance the active, doing energy of the magician with the receptive, being energy of the High Priestess. It is from this deep well of intuition and unseen potential that true creation can occur. The High Priestess receives the divine spark of an idea in the darkness. She is the unfertilized egg. When her intuitive wisdom is combined with the willpower and manifestation ability of the magician, the sperm, something new is created. Their union gives birth to the Empress, the embodiment of creation itself. Number 2, what will you do with the power you have? The magician is the master of manifestation, the link between the spiritual and material worlds. He stands with one hand pointing to the sky and the other to the earth, acting as a channel for divine energy. On the table before him are the 4 symbols of the Minor Arcana: a wand, a cup, a sword, and a pentacle, representing willpower, emotions, intellect, and the physical body. The infinity symbol above his head shows his access to unlimited potential. The number 1 represents new beginnings, individuality, and action. Before you can access your deep intuition, you must first become aware of your own power. The magician represents skill, willpower, and the ability to turn ideas into reality. As above, so below. This is the stage where you realize you are not just a passive observer of your life, you are a co-creator. You have all the tools you need to create the life you want. The wand is your passion and drive. The cup is your emotional intelligence and intuition. The sword is your intellect and your ability to communicate. The pentacle is your ability to make things happen in the real physical world. The magician is about focused intention. He is not just wishing for things to happen. He is actively using his will and his skills to manifest his desires. This is the moment you decide to start a new project, learn a new skill, or take the first step towards a goal. This is the conscious mind at its peak. It is clear, focused, and powerful. The magician knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it. He is a master of communication, persuasion, and concentration. The primary lesson here is about conscious creation. You have the power. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you use it for a higher purpose or for purely selfish ends? The magician has the potential to be a great creator or a manipulative trickster. This is the spark of the journey. It is the realization of I can. It is the moment you step into your personal power and recognize your own agency. You are not a victim of circumstance. You have the tools, you have the will, you have the power to act. But this active, conscious power is only half of the equation. The magician has all the tools laid out on the table in the bright light of day. But where did the ideas, the inspiration come from? To find that, he must turn and face the mystery that lies behind the veil. He must consult the High Priestess, the guardian of the subconscious and the source of all potential. The magician has the power to build the house, but the High Priestess holds the blueprint. Number 1, are you ready to take the first step? The Fool is numbered 0, a number that represents pure potential, the cosmic egg, the state before creation. It is the Alpha and the Omega, existing outside the linear progression of the other cards. In many historical decks, the Fool was not numbered at all and was considered separate from the other trumps, able to move freely throughout the deck, much like a modern Joker. Before you can become the powerful magician, you must first be the Fool. This is the beginning of everything. It is the leap of faith. The Fool stands on the edge of a cliff, ready to step off into the unknown. He is not looking where he's going. His head is in the clouds. He is naive, innocent, and full of blind trust. He carries a small bag on a stick, containing only the essential experiences he needs. He has no plan, no map, no fear. This is the state of pure potential. The Fool is us at the very beginning of any new adventure, the first day of a new job, the start of a new relationship, a move to a new country. We don't know what will happen. We are full of excitement and a little bit of blissful ignorance. The little white dog at his heels is trying to warn him, representing our instincts and the voice of reason. But the Fool isn't listening. He is ready to trust the universe completely. This is a card of radical beginnings. It requires you to let go of your fears, your expectations, your need to control the outcome. You have to be willing to look foolish. You have to be willing to fall. This is the spirit of the beginner's mind. It is open, curious, and unburdened by past failures. To start any great journey, you must first embody this energy. You have to be willing to take that first terrifying, exhilarating step into the void. The Fool is not stupid. He is unenlightened. He has not yet learned the lessons of the Major Arcana. He is pure, unformed potential. He is the soul before it incarnates, before it begins its long journey of learning and experience. It is this leap, this blind trust that lands him in front of the magician's table. He falls off the cliff and lands in the world of conscious creation. His journey has begun. The fool takes a step, and the magician asks him the first and most important question of the entire journey. Now that you are here, what will you create?